You see, because they are all shareholder of the economy, and all the work is done in a cooperative manner. It's very nice. That's how it is called the economic democracy. This is also one of the reasons why the system is called economic democracy, because 90% people are taking a share, getting a share of the GNP and the GDP, the entire financial production of the year. You see, it's democratized, maximum democratized economy.
Here in the very beginning, I would like to talk about Prout's stand. Prout, that is progressive utilization theory, prioritizes opposing economic exploitation and advocates for movements supporting universal sentiments against all forms of exploitation. Now 100% employment for the local people and developing both labor intensive and capital intensive industries to cater to local needs. Maximum industrial development. Development of industry should along with local resources and consumption patterns, avoiding dependence on outside raw materials and discouraging unnecessary importation of finished products. Supporting local industries by purchasing locally produced goods fosters economic growth, prevents exploitation, and strengthens community cohesion. Promotion of the local language and culture is also important. Using the local languages as the medium of instructions and communication fosters cultural identity, self-respect, and autonomy, countering cultural suppressions and exploitation. Communities can achieve sustainable development and combat exploitation effectively. Importance of agricultural dependency. A balanced economic necessities that around 30 to 40% of the population should directly depend on agriculture. This ensures neither neglect nor strain on agricultural resources. Need for socio-economic analysis. Present day challenges require a fresh socio-economic perspective to address imbalances in agriculture and industry. So there should be optimum distribution of workforce. A balanced economic environment calls for about 20% engagement in agro-industries, 20% in agrico-industries, 10% in general trade, and 10% in white-collar jobs or service sectors, and the remaining in agriculture. Rural industries' decline has led to an influx of labor into agriculture. Role of non-agricultural industries. Non-agricultural industries must be maintained between 20–30% of the population to prevent over-industrialization or underdevelopment, ensuring a stable economy and standard of living. Non-agricultural industries such as the steel plants, other metal industries, refineries, the percentage of the people engaged in non-agricultural industries should be formed by reducing the percentage of the people depending directly on agriculture, agro-industries, and agrico-industries. So the percentage of the people engaged in non-agricultural industries will have to be kept within 20 to 30% of the total. That is, it's called balanced economy. Addressing surplus and deficit labor. A balanced socio-economic structure aims to eliminate surplus or deficit labor, ensuring equitable distribution and utilization of workforce resources. Structuring agriculture as an industry, that is what we call Krishi Ko Udyog Ka Darja. Agriculture pricing should reflect the true value of the produce, preventing exploitation of farmers and ensuring fair compensation for their labor. And there comes the integrated farming. Self-reliance is the main objective of our farming projects. Hence, they should be oriented towards production. They should not be dependent on outside resources. An integrated approach to farming should include such as agriculture, horticulture, floriculture, sericulture, lag culture, apiculture, dairy farming, animal husbandry, irrigation, pisciculture, pest control, proper use of fertilizer, cottage industries, energy production, research centers, and water conservation. So this approach will make farming prospects self-reliant and should be adopted. And our general economy has three pronged system. We call it a key industries, which are complex industries or very heavy industries which is not possible to manage cooperative basis. And then second comes cooperative sector, that is all medium and large industries has to run on the basis of Prout cooperative system. And then a small scale proprietorship private industries. So Prout cooperative system is the key in making everyone contributing in wealth creation of a nation or a society. And that's the only remedy as an alternative to capitalism. Every human being has certain minimum requirements which he or she must be guaranteed. Guaranteed availability of foodstuff, clothing, medical assistance, and housing accommodation should be arranged through people's economy so that human beings may be able to utilize their surplus energy, surplus potential, energy up till now engaged in procuring the very basic essentialities of life.
Namaskar. So again, welcome today in today's open forum session. And today the topic basically came to our mind. Yesterday one video was released and I was going through, and then we thought that is our prime topic and we must discuss this. So Universal Proutist Intellectual Federation, UPIF, open forum discussion today. The topic is transformation from no job, which is the situation today and specific to India, to 100% employment guarantee in Proutist era. हिंदी में इसको कहते हैं बदलाव, जहां नो जॉब से लेकर 100% रोजगार की गारंटी तक की जो यात्रा है, ये प्रौत का की एजेंडा है, सबको रोजगार की गारंटी. So let us start. If you see India's position in the world economy based on GDP as per, today's measuring parameter or tool, the GDP ranking, India is ranked as the 5th largest economy in the world by nominal GDP with a total GDP of 4.112 billion. But when you go to the per capita GDP ranking, when it comes to per capita GDP, India's per capita GDP is $2.85 thousands, per year. The country's rank based on per capita GDP is not specified in the search results which I went through, but it's known that there is a significant gap between India's nominal GDP ranking and its per capita GDP ranking due to the large population. That is what is being, जिसको कहते हैं ठिकरा फोड़ते हैं population पे. So this ranking reflects India's strong economic foundation, of course, diverse economy and rapid growth sector such as information technology, service, agriculture and manufacturing. However, the per capita GDP indicates that the average income of an individual is still lower compared to other top economies, which is a factor of a nation's large population size that is being told. We should always remember that today the main agenda of the country election is going on, that job. People say the job growth is not there. And I'll quote here the late President Abdul Kalam sentence that self-respect comes with economic self-independence. So population can be a boon for the country if all are trained and allowed to participate respectfully in wealth creation of our country. I was going through one, Prout believes that भारत के जो प्राकृतिक संपदा जो है, जो हमारी नेचुरल जो हमारी रिजर्व्स हैं, जो हमारी परंपरागत जो व्यवस्था है, इसको आधार बनाकर क्षेत्रीय अभिव्यक्ति और राष्ट्रीय दृष्टिकोण की भावना को ध्यान में रखते हुए आत्मनिर्भर भारत का निर्माण करने का निर्णय किया. we can create a self-independent India economically. पूर्ण रूप से आत्मनिर्भर तो होगा ही होगा। किसी भी व्यक्ति को रोजगार के लिए अपने जन्मभूमि, अपनी मातृभूमि, अपना परिवार और अपने बंधु बांधव से दूर जाना नहीं पड़ेगा। So both individuals and society, we all know, being the Proutists, that dependent on three major factors for their existence. One is Asti, second is Bhati, and then Ananda. The dwelling place, food, clothing, education, medical facilities are the basic requirements of Asti, that is for the existence. And that comes with job, with earning capacity, with purchasing power. So forget about Bhati and Ananda, which is the second two important factors. The very existence is at stake, and that is why we are talking of job. So we shall discuss solutions, but here is some facts for consumption. In this 20 minutes video came yesterday only, which I went through. Maybe many of you might have gone through. But it opens the mind with present condition. Ignore if some political comments here and there are there in between, but focus on data and can note some relevant points if you wish. So just I would like to share this.
आज के दिन देश का सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा बन चुका है। इंडिया एम्प्लॉयमेंट रिपोर्ट 2024 के अनुसार देश में हर 3 में से 1 युवा बेरोजगार बैठा है। अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट 29.1% पहुंच चुका है, वो भी उन लोगों में जिनके पास एक ग्रेजुएट डिग्री ऑलरेडी है। सवाल यहां पर यह उठता है कि आखिर ऐसा हो क्यों रहा है? 140 करोड़ लोगों का देश है। इतने सारे लोगों को दाल, चावल, आटा, चीनी, साबुन, तेल, शैम्पू, टी शर्ट, जूता, स्कूल, अस्पताल, फिल्म, टीवी, स्कूटर, अखबार, जाने क्या क्या चाहिए। इतनी बड़ी मार्केट है। विदेशी कंपनियां यहां आकर लाखों करोड़ों का प्रॉफिट कमा जाती हैं, जिनमें से कुछ कंपनीज ऐसी हैं जो सिर्फ चीनी और सोडा वाला रंगीन पानी बेचती है। पेप्सिको को देखो, उसकी लेटेस्ट आरओसी फाइलिंग के हिसाब से इंडिया में उसका ईयरली रेवेन्यू 8,000 करोड़ है। कोका कोला इंडिया, इसका ईयरली रेवेन्यू 12,800 करोड़ से ज्यादा। और देश के युवा को 12,800 रुपए की नौकरी भी नहीं मिल सकती, ये कैसे पॉसिबल हो सकता है? इंडिया 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बन चुका है और कहानियां सुनाई जा रही हैं कि जल्द ही हम $5 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी बन जाएंगे। लेकिन इस इकोनॉमी में आपके लिए कोई नौकरियां नहीं है। आखिर कौन खा गया आपकी नौकरियों को, आपके काम धंधे को? आज के इस वीडियो में अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की प्रॉब्लम को गहराई से समझते हैं दोस्तों। क्या है इसके पीछे की रूट कॉज और क्या है इसका सॉल्यूशन? ना सिर्फ सरकार के पर्सपेक्टिव से कि सरकार क्या कर सकती है, बल्कि आप भी क्या कर सकते हैं।
युवाओं को बेरोजगार रखने वालों जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
पिताजी ने हमेशा पढ़ने को बढ़ावा दिया, पर नौकरी ना मिली। विकास हो तो ही नौकरी निकले ना।
ग्राउंड रियलिटी को थोड़ा गहराई से समझते हैं दोस्तों। पहले ये जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि आखिर कितनी नौकरियों की जरूरत है देश में। मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन की वेबसाइट पर 2021-22 की रिपोर्ट मिली है मुझे। यहाँ लिखा है नंबर ऑफ एनरोलमेंट्स हायर सेकेंडरी में है 2.85 करोड़, यानी कि अप्रोक्सीमेटली इतने बच्चे हर साल हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल में एनरोल करते हैं। क्या इतनी नौकरियों की जरूरत है हमें हर साल? एक्चुअली यहाँ पर हमें उन स्टूडेंट्स को भी कंसीडर करना चाहिए जो ड्रॉप आउट कर जाते हैं पहले। यूडीआईएससी रिपोर्ट के अनुसार करीब 12.61% ड्रॉप आउट रेट है सेकेंडरी लेवल पर, यानी क्लास 10th के बाद। और इससे पहले अपर प्राइमरी लेवल पर 3% का ड्रॉप आउट रेट है और प्राइमरी लेवल पर भी 1.45% का ड्रॉप आउट रेट है। इसी साल की इस रिपोर्ट को देख लीजिए, करीब 35 लाख 10th ग्रेड स्टूडेंट्स 11th ग्रेड में पहुंच ही नहीं पाए। तो अगर हम 12th पास, 12th फेल और इन सारे ड्रॉप आउट्स को कंसीडर करेंगे तो ओवरऑल नंबर जो निकल कर आता है वो 3.4 करोड़ के आसपास होगा। इनमें से ज्यादातर 12th पास स्टूडेंट्स डिसाइड करते हैं कि वो कॉलेज में पढ़ाई करेंगे। लेकिन क्या हमारे कॉलेजेस में, देश के सारे कॉलेजेस में इन करोड़ों लोगों को अकोमोडेट करने के लिए इतनी कॉलेज सीटें हैं? इसका जवाब सीधे तौर पर ना है। पहले मेडिकल एजुकेशन का एग्जाम्पल लेकर देख लेते हैं। जुलाई 2023 में हमारे मिनिस्टर ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर ने पार्लियामेंट में बताया कि पूरे देश में करीब 1,08,000 एमबीबीएस की सीटें हैं। इसके अलावा कुछ बीडीएस की भी सीटें हैं, बैचलर ऑफ डेंटल सर्जरी। टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया की रिपोर्ट के अनुसार जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ सीटें हैं यहाँ पर एमबीबीएस प्लस बीडीएस की सीट्स, ये 1.4 लाख के अराउंड है। लेकिन नीट यूजी 2023 में जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ एप्लीकेशंस थी वो 20 लाख से भी ज्यादा थी। यानी कि अगर 15 लोगों को एम्बिशन है डॉक्टर बनने का तो उनमें से एक ही को सीट मिल पाती है। पीजी सीट्स का नंबर इससे भी कम है, 67,800 सीट्स सिर्फ। इसका मतलब समझ रहे हो आप दोस्तों, देश में डॉक्टर बनने वाले कैंडिडेट्स की सप्लाई भरपूर है। ढेरों लोग डॉक्टर बनना चाहते हैं हमारे देश में। और डिमांड भी बहुत है, डॉक्टर्स की सख्त कमी है देश में। लेकिन प्रॉब्लम बस ये है कि हमारे देश में इतना एजुकेशनल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ही नहीं बनाया गया सरकार के द्वारा। कॉलेजेस की, यूनिवर्सिटीज की, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स की कमी है। इस प्रॉब्लम का एक और पहलू भी है, जितनी टोटल मेडिकल सीट्स हैं हमारे देश में, उनमें से आधी सरकारी मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में है और बाकी आधी प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में। और प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस की फीस बहुत बहुत हाई होती है। एक टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया रिपोर्ट के अनुसार डीवाई पाटिल मेडिकल कॉलेज जो मुंबई में है, ये सबसे महंगी एमबीबीएस की डिग्री ऑफर करता है 1.4 करोड़ रुपीस में। दिसंबर 2022 में मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर एजुकेशन ने पार्लियामेंट में इंफॉर्मेशन प्रेजेंट करी थी, जिसमें पता चला हमें कि मीडियन फीस किसी भी प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेज की देश में 11.5 लाख रुपीस पर ईयर है। यानी कि पूरी डिग्री की फीस हो गई करीब ऑलमोस्ट 60 लाख रुपए। मीडियन फीस डीम्ड यूनिवर्सिटीज की इससे भी ज्यादा है, 21 लाख रुपए पर ईयर। टोटल फीस 1 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा। देश में कितने परिवार ऐसे हैं जो इसे अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं? 2022 की रिपोर्ट स्टेट ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी इन इंडिया के अनुसार 90% इंडियंस की कमाई 25,000 पर मंथ से कम है। 90% देशवासी ये कॉलेज फीस अफोर्ड ही नहीं कर सकते। अब ये बातें सुनकर कोई न्यूज एंकर बहाना मारेगा कि सबको डॉक्टर ही क्यों बनना है। तो आइए दोस्तों, इंजीनियर्स की भी बात कर लेते हैं। दिसंबर 2022 में हमारे मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर एजुकेशन सुभाष सरकार ने राज्यसभा में बताया कि इवन दो इंडियन पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है, लेकिन पिछले 5 सालों में टोटल नंबर ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में जो सीटें हैं वो नीचे जा रही हैं। 2017-18 में 14.65 लाख सीटें थी, ये नीचे गिर के 2021-22 में सिर्फ 12.53 लाख रह गई। लेकिन यहां पर भी इस प्रॉब्लम का एक और पहलू है। 2017-18 में आधी से ज्यादा सीटें खाली गई। 2018-19 में 48.6% सीट्स वेकेंट थी। 2021-22 में भी करीब 33% सीट्स वेकेंट थी, यानी 4.21 लाख सीट्स खाली। यहां भी सप्लाई की कोई कमी नहीं है। करोड़ों लोग देश में इंजीनियर बनना चाहते हैं, लेकिन इतनी सारी सीटें खाली क्यों जा रही हैं इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में? इसके पीछे 4 मेन कारण है। पहला है हाई फीस। पिछले कुछ सालों में आईआईटीज जैसे कॉलेजेस की भी फीस बढ़ गई है। 2016 के इस न्यूज आर्टिकल को देखिए, आईआईटीज में फीस हाइक ऑलमोस्ट डबल से ज्यादा हुआ। 90,000 रुपीज से 2 लाख कर दी फीस। 4 साल की बीटेक डिग्री के लिए 8 लाख रुपए अब ज्यादा पे करने पड़ेंगे। प्राइवेट इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस की बात करी जाए तो ये फीस 20 लाख रुपए तक पहुंच जाती है। दूसरा, फीस चाहे आप कितनी भी ज्यादा पे करो, क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन ज्यादातर केसेस में बहुत लो है। ज्यादातर प्राइवेट इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में सब स्टैंडर्ड फैकल्टी है, जिन्हें या तो बहुत कम पे किया जाता है या फिर जो क्वालिफाइड ही नहीं होते। जून 2023 की मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन के इस डेटा को देखिए, सिर्फ 44.51% फैकल्टी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में देश में इनके पास पीएचडी है। सिर्फ 55.49।
अगर आप अपनी लाइफ में प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन से परेशान हैं, आप कोशिश तो बहुत करते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी
% के पास एक मास्टर्स डिग्री है, ये अलाउ भी कैसे किया जा रहा है? तीसरा, ज्यादातर इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में फैकल्टी की भी शॉर्टेज है। दिसंबर 2022 की इस रिपोर्ट को देखिए। हमारे एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर ने लोकसभा को बताया कि करीब 4,500 फैकल्टी पोस्ट हमारे प्रेस्टिजियस आईआईटीज में वेकेंट पड़ी हैं। एकेडमिक ईयर 2021-22 में ओवरऑल 40.3% टीचिंग पोजीशंस वेकेंट थी। अगर आईआईटीज की यह हालत है तो बाकी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस की क्या हालत होगी देश में? चौथा, ज्यादातर कॉलेजेस के पास प्रॉपर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी नहीं है। 2019 में एआईसीटीई ने डिसाइड किया कि देश भर के सरकारी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में 40,000 सीट्स रिड्यूस कर दी जाएंगी। क्यों? क्योंकि इनके पास ना प्रॉपर फैकल्टी थी, ना प्रॉपर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर था। 2022 में अन्ना यूनिवर्सिटी ने एक फिजिकल इंस्पेक्शन किया और पाया कि तमिलनाडु में 50% से ज्यादा इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में एडिक्वेट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ही नहीं है। पिछले साल 37 इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस तमिलनाडु में ऐसे थे जिनमें एक स्टूडेंट तक नहीं एडमिट किया गया। जब देश भर के इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस की इतनी बुरी हालत है तो कोई हैरानी की बात नहीं कि ज्यादातर इंजीनियरिंग ग्रेजुएट्स देश में एम्प्लॉयबल ही नहीं होते। 2019 में एक एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी असेसमेंट कंपनी एस्पायरिंग माइंड्स ने एक रिपोर्ट निकाली, जिसमें बताया कि 60% इंजीनियरिंग ग्रेजुएट्स देश में इंटर्नशिप ही नहीं करते, और इससे भी कम लोग, सिर्फ 3% इंजीनियर्स के पास न्यू एज टेक्नोलॉजिकल स्किल्स हैं, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, मशीन लर्निंग, डेटा साइंस और मोबाइल डेवलपमेंट की फील्ड में। इस सब का नतीजा 80% से ज्यादा इंडियन इंजीनियर्स एम्प्लॉयबल ही नहीं है। और ये इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि वो आलसी हैं या पढ़ाई में अच्छे नहीं हैं, बल्कि इसलिए क्योंकि देश में इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस की कमी है और देश के इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में कॉम्पिटेंट फैकल्टी और ढंग के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की कमी है। अब कुछ लोग कहेंगे कि इंजीनियरिंग के पीछे ही क्यों पड़े हो, कुछ और कर लो, कोई आईटीआई ज्वाइन कर लो। आईटीआई यानी इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट, जहां पर आप कोई स्किल सीख सकते हो। बढ़िया ऑप्शन है, लेकिन यहां पर कितनी सीट्स अवेलेबल है? हमारे मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप राजीव चंद्रशेखर ने लोकसभा को बताया दिसंबर 2022 में कि 15,000 के अराउंड आईटीआईज हैं। टोटल सीटिंग कैपेसिटी 25 लाख के अराउंड है। मेडिकल के 1.5 लाख, इंजीनियरिंग के 12.5 लाख और आईटीआई के 25 लाख, इन सारी सीटों को भी एडअप कर दो तो 50 लाख भी नहीं होता है। लेकिन जैसा मैंने वीडियो में पहले बताया कि टोटल जो स्टूडेंट्स निकल कर आ रहे हैं देश में, उनका नंबर 3 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा है। बाकी करोड़ों स्टूडेंट्स कहां जाकर क्या पढ़ाई करेंगे? इस आईटीआई की बात करी जाए तो इन 25 लाख सीटों में से भी इंजीनियरिंग की तरह यहां पर 50% के अराउंड सीटें खाली पड़ी हैं और इनसे ग्रेजुएट करने के बाद इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस की तरह कोई जॉब की गारंटी नहीं है। ज्यादातर लोग ग्रेजुएट्स जो हैं वो एम्प्लॉयबल नहीं है। अगर हम एक दफा ये अज्यूम भी कर लें कि जितनी सीटें अवेलेबल हैं वो सारी सीटें फुल होती हैं, उन सारी सीटों में टॉप क्वालिटी एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड करी जाती है और सारे ग्रेजुएट्स के पास बढ़िया स्किल्स रहती हैं, तो क्या इन सबको जॉब्स मिल पाएंगी? इसका भी जवाब सीधा सीधा ना है। जुलाई 2023 के सीएमआई के डेटा से हमें पता चलता है कि इंडिया के मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में 2016 में 5.1 करोड़ नौकरियां हुआ करती थी। 2023 में ये नौकरियां गिर के सिर्फ 3.6 करोड़ बची है। सही सुना आपने, 30% से मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर जॉब्स कम हो गई हैं। ऊपर से जिन लोगों के पास नौकरियां हैं उन लोगों की नौकरियां भी सिक्योर नहीं है। इन रिपोर्ट्स को देखिए, मई 2020 सीएमआई की रिपोर्ट के अनुसार 12 करोड़ से ज्यादा इंडियंस ने अपनी नौकरियां खोई जब अप्रैल में कोरोना वायरस लॉकडाउन लगा। तो जून 2021 1 करोड़ लोगों ने अपनी नौकरियां खोई कोविड की सेकेंड वेव के दौरान। 97% हाउस होल्ड इनकम्स डिक्लाइन कर गए। आप कहोगे कोविड की क्यों बात कर रहा हूं, तो चलो आगे की खबरें सुनाता हूं कोविड के बाद की। मई 2023 इंडियन स्टाफिंग फेडरेशन बताता है कि 6% कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वर्कर्स अपनी नौकरियां खो चुके हैं मार्च के क्वार्टर में इंडिया के आईटी सेक्टर में। जून 2023 11,000 से ज्यादा इंडियन स्टार्टअप एम्प्लॉयज को ले ऑफ किया गया। अगस्त 2023 ले ऑफ का सुनामी आ गया। टेक कंपनीज ने 2 लाख से ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयज को फायर किया अपनी नौकरियों से। इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस परेशान हैं क्योंकि टीसीएस, कॉग्निसेंट और विप्रो जैसी कंपनीज ने कैंपस हायरिंग शुरू नहीं की है। अक्टूबर 2023 टॉप 5 में से 4 आईटी कंपनीज के हायरिंग नंबर्स नेगेटिव में गए हैं। इन्फोसिस, विप्रो, एचसीएल और टेक महिंद्रा सबके हायरिंग नंबर्स नेगेटिव में थे। सिर्फ टीसीएस के पॉजिटिव में थे, 523 स्टाफर्स। हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पर? इंडियन इकोनॉमी का जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट नेगेटिव में तो नहीं है और ना ही ये कंपनीज लॉस में जा रही हैं। टीसीएस का अगर आप प्रॉफिट देखो तो 9% ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रोथ मिली है उन्हें प्रॉफिट में, 11,300 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट। इन्फोसिस का अगर क्वार्टरली प्रॉफिट देखो बिफोर टैक्स 8,500 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट। इन सारी कंपनीज ने हर क्वार्टर में प्रॉफिट रिकॉर्ड किया है, लेकिन लोगों को देने के लिए इनके पास नौकरियां नहीं है। जिन लोगों को नौकरियों पर रख रखा है उनसे ओवर टाइम काम कराया जा रहा है। आधे से ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयज बर्नआउट की कगार पर है। मैकिंसी हेल्थ इंस्टीट्यूट 2023 के सर्वे के अनुसार वर्क प्लेस बर्नआउट सर्वे में इंडिया टॉप पर है। 62% इंडियन एम्प्लॉयज वर्क प्लेस एग्जॉशन रिपोर्ट करते हैं। सेकंड नंबर पर जापान आता है 61% के साथ। ये इकलौती ऐसी रिपोर्ट नहीं है, पहले भी कई रिपोर्ट्स आई हैं जिन्होंने यही चीज पॉइंट आउट करी है। सितंबर 2023 की एशियन मेंटल हेल्थ इंडेक्स रिपोर्ट, आधे से ज्यादा इंडियन एम्प्लॉयज वर्क से एग्जॉस्टेड फील करते हैं। फरवरी 2021 की आईएलओ की रिपोर्ट, इंडियन वर्कर्स वर्क द लॉन्गेस्ट अर्न द लीस्ट।
नारायण नारायण।
मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि सारी कंपनीज ऐसा करती हैं, लेकिन देश में ज्यादातर कंपनीज का यही फंडा है। नए एम्प्लॉयज को रिक्रूट मत करो, सैलरी देनी पड़ेगी उन्हें। जितने जो अभी के एम्प्लॉयज हैं उनका तेल निकालो। अगर ऐसा लगे कि अभी के एम्प्लॉयज ज्यादा ओवरवर्क्ड नहीं है तो कॉस्ट कटिंग और एनहांस्ड एफिशिएंसी के नाम पर कुछ और ले ऑफ्स कर दो। दुनिया भर में भी कई कंपनीज यही कर रही हैं। Amazon 2023 के पहले 3 महीनों में 27,000 से ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयज को जॉब से निकाला ग्लोबली। मेटा नवंबर 2022 से 21,000 एम्प्लॉयज को फायर कर चुकी है। ट्विटर दिसंबर 2022 की रिपोर्ट, इंडिया में सिर्फ 80 एम्प्लॉयज बचे हैं ट्विटर के देश भर में। इंजीनियर्स को ज्यादा घंटे काम करने को कहा जा रहा है। यहां पर एक पैटर्न है जो बड़ा क्लियरली देखने को मिलता है। जब एक कंपनी हद से ज्यादा बड़ी हो जाती है तो जॉब ग्रोथ रेट उस कंपनी में हमेशा नीचे गिरते रहता है। एक पिछले वीडियो में मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिखाया था अडानी ग्रुप का। इनका मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन 11 लाख करोड़ का है। ये एक बहुत बहुत बड़ा नंबर होता है, लेकिन कितने एम्प्लॉयज रख रखे हैं इस कंपनी ने? इनकी खुद की वेबसाइट के अनुसार सिर्फ 43,000 एम्प्लॉयज। कोका कोला का एग्जांपल देखो। दिसंबर 2012 में कोका कोला ने यूएस सिक्योरिटीज एंड एक्सचेंज कमीशन को बताया था इस कंपनी के 1,50,900 एम्प्लॉयज हैं। 10 साल बाद दिसंबर 2022 में कोका कोला ने बताया कि इनके सिर्फ 82,000 एम्प्लॉयज बचे हैं। नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज ऑलमोस्ट आधे हो गए 10 सालों में, लेकिन जो प्रॉफिट था वो हंड्रेड्स ऑफ बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स ज्यादा बढ़ा इस कंपनी का। ट्विटर का मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन 41 बिलियन डॉलर्स यानी कि 3.4 लाख करोड़ रुपीस। कितने एम्प्लॉयज हैं कंपनी के पास? सिर्फ 1,500। इंडिया की वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंपनीज आईटीसी 25 से ज्यादा ब्रांड्स को ओन करती है। सनफीस्ट बिस्किट्स, आशीर्वाद आटा, बिंगो मैड एंगल्स, आईटीसी मौर्य जैसे बड़े बड़े होटल्स, 10 से ज्यादा सिगरेट के ब्रांड्स, क्लासमेट स्टेशनरी, ये सब इस एक बड़ी कंपनी के अंदर आता है। इनकी मार्केट कैप 5.4 लाख करोड़ रुपीस की है, लेकिन कितने एम्प्लॉयज हायर करते हैं ये? सिर्फ 23,000 के अराउंड। एफएमसीजी सेक्टर में एक और फेमस नाम है हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर का। 50 से ज्यादा एफएमसीजी के ब्रांड्स ये ओन करते हैं। पेप्सोडेंट, क्लोजअप, लाइफ बॉय, डव, पियर सोप, क्वालिटी वॉल्स, हॉर्लिक्स, रेड लाख करोड़ रुपीस की है। एनुअल टर्नओवर 58,000 करोड़ रुपीस का है, लेकिन टोटल एम्प्लॉयज इसमें सिर्फ 21,000 लोग। तो पॉइंट यहां पर यह है कि ये जो प्राइवेट जॉब्स हैं, इंजीनियरिंग एमबीए करने के बाद जो नौकरियां मिलती हैं, कॉर्पोरेट व्हाइट कॉलर जॉब्स, ये भी काफी लिमिटेड है। और ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी को स्किल्स की कमी होने की वजह से ये नौकरियां नहीं मिल रही हैं। बहुत सारे स्किल्ड लोग हैं देश में। प्रॉब्लम यह है कि नौकरियों की कमी है। लोग गांधी जी के चरखे का अक्सर मजाक उड़ाते हैं, लेकिन अगर एम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात करी जाए तो गांधी जी का चरखा यहां पर इन बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों से ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोवाइड करता है। आईमार ग्रुप की रिपोर्ट के अनुसार इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट मार्केट का साइज 2022 में 3.9 बिलियन डॉलर्स था। रुपये में कन्वर्ट किया जाए तो करीब 32,000 करोड़ रुपए। और गेस कर सकते हो यहां पर कितने लोग एम्प्लॉयड हैं? 69 लाख लोग। हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर से एक बार फिर से कंपेयर करो, वहां टर्नओवर है 58,000 करोड़ का और एम्प्लॉयमेंट 21,000 लोगों को मिल रही है। हैंडीक्राफ्ट मार्केट का साइज है 32,000 करोड़ का और यहां एम्प्लॉयमेंट 69 लाख लोगों को मिल रही है। 650 टाइम्स ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट यहां मिलती है। नीति आयोग की रिपोर्ट्स ने भी यही चीज पॉइंट आउट करी है। इवन दो इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर सिर्फ 50% कंट्रीब्यूशन करता है हमारे नेशनल प्रोडक्ट में, लेकिन 90% वर्कफोर्स यहां एम्प्लॉयड है। अमूल के वीडियो मैंने आपको बताया था कि कैसे लिज्जत पापड़ और अमूल जैसे कोऑपरेटिव्स को भारी क्रेडिट दिया जाना चाहिए एक बहुत बड़े स्केल पर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करने के लिए। कुछ भोले लोग बड़ी तारीफ करते घूमते हैं इन बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों की कि ये देखो ये कितना अरबपति बन गया, ये गोदी सेठ दुनिया का सबसे अमीर आदमी बन गया। लेकिन असल में हमारे देश में अगर कोई रोजगार दे रहा है, देश को आगे ले जा रहा है, तो वो है हमारे कोऑपरेटिव्स और स्मॉल एंड माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस। देश के हर एक दुकानदार और हर एक रेडी लगाने वाले को यहां पर क्रेडिट दिया जाना चाहिए। जो डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड इकोनॉमी, लोकलाइज्ड प्रोडक्शन वो क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, असल में तो वही जॉब क्रिएशन हो रही है। हमें जरूरत है यहां पर सबका साथ सबका विकास की और वोकल फॉर लोकल होने की। मैं जानता हूं ये प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के द्वारा दिए गए स्लोगन्स हैं, लेकिन जब बात इन स्लोगन्स की आती है तो मैं इनका बहुत बड़ा फैन हूं। प्रॉब्लम बस ये है कि प्रधानमंत्री को सिर्फ ये नारे देने आते हैं, काम वो इसको लेकर या तो उल्टा करते हैं या कुछ करते ही नहीं है। बेरोजगारी की समस्या को सुलझाने के लिए सरकार को यहां क्या करने की जरूरत है? सबसे पहले वैकेंसीज फिल करी जाए। इवन तो सरकारी नौकरियों की सख्त कमी है, लेकिन कम से कम जितनी है उनकी तो वैकेंसीज फिल करो। सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में 9.5 लाख से ज्यादा वैकेंसीज है। अलग अलग स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स में 60 लाख से ज्यादा। बहुत से लोग इंजीनियर्स और डॉक्टर्स बनना चाहते हैं और देश में इंजीनियर्स और डॉक्टर्स की कमी भी है, लेकिन यहां से यहां तक का ट्रांजिशन पूरा करने के लिए एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स नहीं है। तीसरा, सरकार को एक बड़े स्केल पर एक्शन लेने की जरूरत है कोऑपरेटिव, स्मॉल और माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस को प्रमोट करने के लिए। दिल्ली, मुंबई, बेंगलुरु जैसे शहरों में अच्छी इकोनॉमीज एग्जिस्ट करती हैं, लेकिन अगर हम रिमोट डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स की बात करें, मध्य प्रदेश का ग्वालियर या हरियाणा का जींद, यहाँ जॉब्स कौन प्रोवाइड करेगा? क्या यहाँ के गरीब लोग बस इंतजार करते रहें कि किसी दिन किसी गोदी सेठ की नजर इनके नगर पर पड़ेगी और यहाँ आके फैक्ट्रियां लगाएंगे वो और हमें नौकरियां देंगे? ये माइंडसेट बदलने की जरूरत है। सरकार को इंटरवेंशन करना होगा यहाँ पर। अभी सरकार सिर्फ लोन्स प्रोवाइड करती है, लेकिन सरकार को मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, स्टोरेज स्पेस और मार्केट मैकेनिज्म्स प्रोवाइड करने होंगे। अमेरिका में जब 1929 में ग्रेट डिप्रेशन आई थी, या चाइना में माओ जेडोंग के द्वारा जो स्टेलमेट लाया गया था, या फिर सिंगापुर में 1960s में जो स्लम जैसी कंडीशंस थी, ये सब तभी सुधरी थी जब सरकार ने इंटरवेंशन किया। सरकार के एक्शन के बिना इसे सुधारना बहुत मुश्किल है। इंडिया में भी पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने कई सारी पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग सेटअप करी थी। LIC और कई सारे बैंक्स को नेशनलाइज किया था, जिसकी वजह से ढेरों लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिली थी। व्हाइट रेवोल्यूशन ने इंडिया को मिल्क डेफिशिएंट से लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ मिल्क बनाया, और ये तभी हुआ जब सरकार ने इंटरवीन किया। हैदराबाद एक IT हब क्यों बन पाया? क्योंकि सरकार ने इंटरवीन किया था। चौथा, देश में पकोड़े बेचने वालों की अपनी जगह है, इंजीनियर्स की अपनी जगह है, लेकिन जब प्रधानमंत्री पकोड़े बेचने को कहते हैं तो सरकार ने उस चीज को प्रमोट करने के लिए किया क्या है? गैस सिलेंडर और तेल का प्राइस तो ऊपर चला गया है, और एम्प्लॉयमेंट के नाम पर सरकार ने कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स कम कर दिया है 30% से 22% पर 2019 में। इसकी वजह से देश को सिर्फ एक साल में 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा का नुकसान हुआ है।
So thank you very much, everyone. I know it was quite impatient work to listen, but I was forwarding it to have only concern points. So thank you very much. So this was the situation for today. I thought कि यदि हम हालांकि सारे पॉइंट्स में नोट करके रखा था, इसमें पढ़ूंगा तो ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा, उससे अच्छा है कि सुना देते हैं. That was the purpose. And now we'll come to the main business that.
Sorry, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible. Okay, continue. Thank you.
So jobs and no jobs. Huh? So the situation is very serious, and I will be telling a lot of things, but you have to suspend your disbelief. अरे ये जो बोल रहा है ये I should not believe it. ऐसा नहीं. Things are really very serious with regard to the job market. We are not, no government can actually generate jobs in the current economy. अभी जो economy है,
System.
in the economy, kind of economy, that is about capitalist kind of setup. And also, as you know, that this is, there is no government's intervention in the, and you have been talking about the GDP. GDP is a very misleading figure, a very misleading thing. And India is today number one in the world with regard to the extent of inequality. They call it Gini. There's one measure for giving this Gini coefficient, they say. One day we have to talk about Gini coefficient, which is a very scientific way of telling as to how deep or what is the ranking of the inequality in any country. So according to that, India tops in the world of the 160 countries. Especially in the last 2 decades, 2 to 3 decades, we have now position where we have the highest level of inequality. So income generation is whatever the GDP, that is a highly misleading figure, because this is only going to the top 10% of the people, while the 90% of the population is suffering, or their incomes are coming down. Of course, there are so many other factors, other indicators which tell us that the life of especially middle classes, the middle classes purchasing capacity has been going down for the last 20 years in a very, very alarming way. And the middle classes are going to be hit much more in the current scenario. And okay, now let me not go into that aspect of it. See, while questioning the, so the basically thing is that there is no point in asking this government to create, or rather that they will be in a position or ability to create jobs. This is one part of the story. There is another story now becoming more and more current and urgent. That is the artificial intelligence. In the last 2 years, in 2023, in the time, certain company has come forward and said that we have this AI, what we call artificial intelligence tools are going to come. ChatGPT, it has been launched. Now, from then onwards, in the last 12 months, or the things have come to a stage where now the people who are very much knowledgeable in the front line of the story, they are saying that the artificial intelligence will come to 85 million jobs are going to be lost. That is 8 crore 50 lakh jobs are going to be redundant or whatever it is. They are going to be given over to that.
Okay. By the time anyone else can raise hands.
That I'm continuing. Yeah. So I want to give some kind of a real picture of what this has been already. Prout has actually is rather ready-made solve this problem, because it tells us that this is going to happen in the history of the human society, and the kind of changes that people are saying are going to happen in the next 4 or 5 years by 2030. They say that what will have has happened in the last 100 years is going to the changes that are going to take place in the next less than a decade or less than 7 years or 5 or 7 years. See, Baba has, here I want to bring, because this was work definition. The capabilities of we use to earn living can be classified as manual. That is, manual means physical work. Of course, already the industrial revolution has taken over all the jobs of the physical jobs. Then there is a cognitive. Cognitive means intellectual jobs that also have gone to the what do you call computers and all that. And today, affective, that is even capacity to relate human moods, feelings, and attitudes. This also is going to also going over to the are going to taken over, jobs are going to be taken over. And these are the abilities of human beings. So one after the other, all these three are today are being outsourced or something, or doing it externalized from becoming the essential activity of the human society. Now we can see cognitive abilities starting to go the same way. We cannot be confident jobs requiring affective skills will always be reserved for humans. Machines can already tell you if you are happy, surprised, or depressed. The current disruption will continue to produce massive precariat class instead of proletariat, leading to a technological unemployment. So we are right now facing a tsunami of technological unemployment, and unemployment that is generated by technology. Now, I have told you about economy. I said the economy inherently is what do you call? It is not depending, does not want to depend upon the manpower. In fact, human beings are considered as a cost factor. That is a cost factor that will not help them in getting profits. So if they want to get profits, they have to use less number of people to deliver more productivity or production. That is what you have already seen. They said, Coca-Cola, or some other company, see, it has reduced the, while it has 17 times, it has increased the income, while it has halved the staff. The staff has been halved by half of it. So staff is being lowered, the strength of staff is lowered, and as well as the productivity is increasing. So this is the story of our times. That is, our economy does not support jobs, and now the technology is not going to support our jobs, because our technology also is ready to take over the job. So ultimately, this is the fact, this is the scenario which Baba has already pointed out. He says, as life, see, this is written in 1989. He said that as life becomes increasingly easy, there will be greater opportunities for intellectual pursuits. A day will come when there will be hardly any need for human beings to work. This may sound strange today, and perhaps we might not like to hear such thing, but that day will surely come. Physicality will be transformed into more and more intellectuality, and intellectuality will be transformed into the culminating point of spirituality. To move ahead from physicality to intellectuality is the Proutistic order. It is the surest movement of human life. It is the surest movement of human destiny. This is appeared in
actionable
Prout in a
points
nutshell.
for creating job. Actionable points.
1989. Okay. Now let us come to the model that we have today, capitalist model that we have today. It is I think the video also presented a lot of data, and I think I see the 2 points I said about economy as well as the kind of economic system we have. Capitalist system that we have does not generate jobs, and the new development of artificial intelligence technology is also going to
can you
threaten.
come afterwards? Let me call by the time someone else also. Please hold on your
Yes,
point.
I think at this end, because this is the problem. Okay, now I will again come back about when it comes to talk about solutions.
Yes, solutions. Right. Thank you very much. May I request Dada Madhusudan ji to speak on the subject? Dada Madhusudan, I'm sorry the video was in Hindi. I may not have, but data was in English.
Well, first, the topic is mostly about India. So I'm I'm not directly familiar with all the situations.
But the world over situation you are aware of, you can talk. I mean,
Yes, okay. Well, there's some, first of all, I will talk briefly about what I know. In America, well, let me back up a little bit. The theory, the concept of unemployment, the concept of full employment is a misstatement of the problem, of the situation. There can never be full employment. It's impossible to have full employment because no matter what economy you have, whether it's a proudest economy, a capitalist economy, or whatever economy you have, you need a mobile workforce. The mobile workforce means that there's always things happening. Some businesses will close, some businesses will open, somebody has a new idea, something has to develop. If you start a new business, you need to hire people. What are you going to do? Take people from the, you're going to steal people from another business where they're already working, or you're going to hire from the mobile workforce, that is people who are unemployed. And ideally, you want to hire people who are mobile in the workforce. So if you have full employment, you can, I mean, if everybody is working, then it's very difficult. Your economy can stagnate. So the problem, obviously, you want to provide employment for everybody who needs a job, but you also have to provide income for those people who are in the mobile workforce. That's the defect of capitalism. That's where poverty comes, because capitalism doesn't take care of the mobile workforce. In fact, the capitalists will say that, I believe the figure was like 5% unemployment is a healthy economy. So who provides for the 5% unemployment? Who takes care of those people? That's the defect of capitalism. In a Prout economy, everybody's taken care of. Hopefully everybody has a job, and not always everybody will have a job. But everybody's guaranteed the basic necessities of life. So we have to figure out how to get those to people. And there are many ways to do that. The shocking number in that video was, I believe it was something in the 37% unemployment. I find that number hard to believe. If you had 37% unemployment in any country, you would either have a revolution or mass starvation or just some imponderable concepts. What was interesting in that video is they talk about the informal economy. That's really the informal economy is really the economic democracy. That's where people are doing their own economy and they don't care about what goes on in New Delhi or other places. They just manage their own economy based on who lives around where they are. Some farmers will grow, somebody will grow something, somebody will eat something, stuff will get around. But it doesn't provide for any kind of growth. So the real problem is how to develop economic democracy. And I've heard some proposal, oh, the government should just give out a lot of money. Well, a central solution to decentralized economy is not a possible thing. If you give the government economic power, it will never give that power up. So the economic power has to be in the local areas. So we really need economic democracy. You can say, well, central government should provide people with jobs, or like they did in the United States during the Depression, public works jobs. To some extent, the government should spend money, but the solution is how to get that money circulating locally and not moving back into a centralized economy. I'll tell you a little story. Some years ago, I was meeting with the mayor of Charlotte in his office, which is the top floor of a large government center in Charlotte. Charlotte's our city has about 900,000 people. So it's not a small town. And there's been a lot of growth in our community. So I was talking to the mayor, and he points out the window of his office, and he says, "You see all that area, the whole growth of the downtown area, big buildings all over the place, a lot of development in the city. He said all that development came because of $1 billion of government spending on infrastructure. And he said something that really stuck with me. He said, private money will follow government money. That is, if the government invests money in infrastructure, private money will come to utilize that. And the problem you have in India is you have some places where the government has spent money and the economy is developed, and in other places there's no spending of money, and it's all politics. So when the politics gets involved, you can't solve any problem. And again, that involves economic democracy and democratic politics. When I say democratic politics, I don't mean democratic politics in the sense of everybody goes and votes. It means that the people have to take political power back into their hands locally. To expect central government to solve this problem is only going to benefit the big corporations. And those, as you see, it brings a lot of foreign corporations into the country, but not much development locally. There's a few here and there, but I was in India recently, and you travel around Delhi, you see so many development, and then you go to Jamalpur and nothing's changed in 100 years. So there's a problem and it has to be solved, but it can only be solved locally. It can't be solved with big schemes from the central government. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, Madhusudhan Dada. May I request our Dada Acharya Vimranand Avadhut ji to speak on the subject, please?
Oh, interesting. Thank you all very much. And it was my eavesdrop. I've been absent for a long time, and there were reasons for that. So I will not take time on that. But yes, the topic is very timely, and that's why it caught my attention. Usually, I always see your announcements, but this one stuck with my attention. So I wanted to hear what people are saying, and it's good. The data, that the clip you showed us, and the way Madhusudan ji is already questioning the way of data presentation. It reminds me some time back, maybe a year or maybe 2 years back. No, not 2 years. 1 year back, we heard that all the data in India is just fictitious. It's just prepared inside their office rooms. Nobody takes trouble to really go and really do good sampling and then collect the real data. Even when people are employed, but then they will say I'm not employed, simply because the employment is informal, and there is no way to really know that people are whether they are employed or semi-employed or totally non-employed, and the data that was the workforce is not fully properly trained, and our schools and colleges who are supposed to train our workforce, they are closed. The seats remain empty, vacant. I mean, what's happening in this country? If all this data is to be digested, then one will be simply lost in the forest. This is the image. Now, 100% employment is only possible in the formula given by Tarak Brahma, Mahasadvipra. There's no other way. Baba has mentioned in a new 1990 Baba has given, or 1989 Baba has given a new chapter in Prout, the economic dynamics, where Baba says that capitalism has got inherent staticity. Outside there's a lot of dynamism, but inside they're holding the money for using according to their purpose. So inside there's a stagnancy of the capital. Outside there's a lot of rush and glamour going on, glitter is going on, but inside they're sitting on the money and they're planning their own things, how to use their money for, you see. when the new currency was introduced in India, exactly that resonated. That people got scared that the government had their own plan because they're printing their own money, and they're putting all the established monetary regime totally useless now. So yes, that reminds me and us, we should remember the formula that solution is in economic democracy. Economic democracy, if one thing is to be understood in one sentence, if you have to understand economic democracy, it is not only about local economy, it is about separation of political power from economic power. That model has not been you know in practice in the current. Hello.
Yes, yes, sir. You are
Yes,
audible.
Dada.
Yeah, nowhere you see that in practice, although this was in practice for millennia, for thousands and thousands of years. If you can imagine, before the Britishers came to Asia, there were no political parties in India. But India was, such a established, society. And Macaulay reports, it's not my or our report, it's the report of the British themselves, that India is a peculiar place where nobody has to, lock their doors, and there's no crime anywhere in the streets. There's no theft or any crime of any sort, and also there's no police. So this society works without a police force, and there's no crime. What was this? It was not our report. It was the Britishers' report. That was actually a kind of economic democracy already, because there was no political party, and only economic power was there, and cultural power was there. Political party was no, they were not non-existent, and India was really living a real very good time. Have you ever heard anywhere in the world that people were dressing in gold? See Mahabharata time. What was the dress? All gold ornaments. Men were loaded with gold. Women were loaded with gold on their body. Everywhere gold and gold. They were wearing gold actually, practically. Where on earth we have this example anywhere in the annals of history? Nowhere. And nobody was complaining unemployment that time. There was actually nobody dying of starvation. So the unemployment issue is a political issue. It has been created on purpose so that the politics can continue, so that there will be an issue for discussion. It is artificial, really artificial. But when the government machinery or when the constitution itself provides for this kind of power game between the politics and economy over the people, and people are supposed to simply follow their constitution and be obedient to the constitution and be obedient to what political authorities are telling. You remember in one of my classes I have told to people, there is no economic independence in India. I will not be talking about other countries because this talk is about India. Economic independence is not there, then what has happened? Who is captivating the economy? Who is capturing the economy? Economy is still under shackles, is not independent. Why? Who is playing the game that economy is not independent? It is the politics. In India, there is economic independence for two sections of people. All the politicians, they have economic independence, and all the IS officers, they have economic independence. and the rest of the people are subjects. They have to be just begging for mercy. That's it. That's it. Exactly. And the solution then, renaissance. Any country which wants to rise has to go through period of renaissance. India is overdue. Renaissance is overdue in India. It's just overdue in India. Until you have a situation that everyone is is mentally aware and to form an opinion. Everybody is opinionated. Everybody has got some opinion in their mind. That situation is now emerging, as a byproduct of what government is doing. That everybody is now caught into a situation that they have to think where I stand, where we should stand. Even the remotest, rural people, even the, people of the, lowest economic, stratum, or even the, mothers and, grandmothers in villages, rural areas. Everybody has got today some opinion in their mind. Good. Renaissance does not happen in 1 year time or in 10 years time, but kind of resilient society that we are in India, I think something is changing because everybody is waking up to think for themselves and have an opinion about situation. The only thing is that because the experiment that has gone in USA or that has gone in Europe, it will not be the same type of renaissance in India because Indian society is very, or the oldest society on earth. So India will have to have its own way, to create the renaissance. Again, we are watching again that Brahmanism is coming back, and and people are trying to create that same old scenario, dogma centered mindset. Although dogma centered is better than self centered and matter centered, but still dogma centered is dogma centered. And what has happened, the underdevelopment of India was caused by the dogma centered mindset. So that is not the way out. Anyway, we have discussed earlier this thing also. So towards 100% employment, as you are saying, it is very true that government cannot provide. No government in the world can provide. Government is not that agency that give, quote unquote, create 100% employment. Government's job can be done mostly by 10% population, white collar job. Even in proudest economy, white collar job is only for 10% population. You see, and the government job is white collar job. So how can you expect that government will create the 100% employment? Government will create a policy which will categorize a kind of dynamism, economic dynamism in society, that everybody will enjoy a kind of situation that they can write their own fortune by having economy in their own hands. That comes by liberating the economy, not before that. Until you liberate the economy, forget about 100% employment. Forget about any government that can fulfill the dream of all these intellectuals, what they're talking out in the on the televisions and in the debates that they create to earn more money and to keep the game going. It's all nonsense. It's just trying to mesmerize the childish mindset. This is not the serious thing anybody is talking about. Nobody's interested. Everybody has their own comfort zone, and from that comfort zone they talk nicely in the show. So these are my thoughts, that because government can never create 100%, employment. Government's job can be done only by 10%, maximum 10% people. That Prout also says white collar job is only for the 10% people. Then who will do this? The cooperative. You see, the cooperative talk has come already. Cooperatives are there. And Proutist economy, there are four types of economy. You see, people's economy is there, commercial economy is there. You see, then you have general economy, and then you have psycho-economy. So the 90% population will work in the people's economy. That's where the employment is. And the people's economy is local economy. Cooperative economy is local economy. It is agrarian economy, agro and agrico economy. You see, until the economic planners create this kind of different economic areas, that okay, there's a people's economy, okay, there's a commercial economy. All the cities are commercial economy. You see, cities are not the people's economy. Cities are commercial economy. You see, so commercial economy and the people's economy put together creates the 100%, or not the 90% of the jobs, and the 10% is created by the government. But nobody has this mindset. Even the very economy, economic study, what is the meaning of economy today? Or the very economic study is science of scarcity. Even you have 100 rupees in your pocket, you are supposed to say that I don't have the money, and put this money into a game of making more money, and borrow the money here and do something with little money in your hand, and say, well, we don't have money, and run for creating more money. But you have the money that you don't want to use. You have put the money into making more money. So the very foundation of economic thought is standing on the concept artificiality, artificial scarcity, to create artificial scarcity and make everybody run after, the finding a solution. Money remains in the bank. Who can say that there is no money? There is so much money. But again, that comes capitalism. Inherent staticity. Money is there, but not available to the people. It is people's money. Money in the bank belongs to the people, but is not available to the people. Who is putting the money in the bank? The bank managers? No, it's not their money. It's the money of all the workforce. Everybody's salary must go to the bank. There was a time that you work and the money is given in your hand. Money, still the economy was free and liberated. But now you have created a law that your salary will be given in the bank, in your bank account, not in your hand. Why? To capture your economy, to capture your economic freedom in the shackles. You see, so the banking policy has to change, has to become Proutistic banking system. You see, so this is the thing. Proutist economy is omni-dynamic economy. Money never rests. Money is never frozen in the bank. Banks are the place to transact the money, not to freeze the money and give little by little at a high interest rate. No. There's a general economy to regulate the balancing of that. You see, the general economy, the banking rules and laws will be made on the Protestant principles. So unless you have all these things in place, that Baba has really very diligently, he has, created the structuring of the economic system.
Right.
Only Proutist economy can generate 100% employment, and only Proutist economy can be the liberated economy, because here the basic ideology is that Political power should be separated from economic power. Let economy remain free from the politics. Then only we will have 100% employment. This is my remarks, and if you have questions, I will be available to take your questions.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you very much. You rightly said that the solution is economic democracy, where you separate politics, economic power and political power. That is the first basic requirement. So, you rightly said that is policy can be made centrally so that local economy can flourish. And I have 3 points from the. It has been proven by the video, and that is very sufficient for me to support our proudest economy. That as far as job creation is concerned, corporate cannot create as much job as cooperatives can. That is very clear. And one more thing is that the kind of expenditure today in education, general mass cannot afford. So the free education
Exactly
is the fundamental of Prout, and that is very much required to make people feel, equal in opportunity. Till that it is not possible. And then disparity of economy, rightly said, even Madhusudan Dada said that if 37% unemployment is there, there should be revolution. You also talk about the renaissance. But yes, this situation is coming like that. And the most dangerous part is that with help of technology, what these industries today, the system is such that the easiest way is to lay off the employee. And that is why the situation is worsening day by day. Rather not reducing the working hours, rather
working hours, exactly. That point I was missing.
Yeah.
All these big companies, they should have gone that way, that okay, you are anyway our family, and you have brought us to the level that we have money and resources to have the AI, so we are not laying you off. Rather, you work only 50% of the time, and we are a workforce family. They did not do that because they are not capitalistic. They are capitalistic minded.
Absolutely, they are not. They are quite self-centered. जिसको हम आत्मशुद्ध
Exactly.
तत्व कहते हैं. Otherwise, unless they are broad-minded enough as a samaj tattva, they will not think of you. They will think of their profit only, and that is what is being happening. So
But they are going to destroy. But they are going to destroy themselves. You will see.
Yeah.
You will see. It's already they are working on destroying
But
how
in
to
that
destroy each other.
process, others are also getting destroyed. That is the worry.
Now the third world war preparation. Everything is heading in that direction. This self-centered. Capitalism is based on self-centered philosophy, and the self-centered philosophy is characterized by egotism and arrogance. And egotism and arrogance at a country and national level can only create world wars.
Right.
It can.
May I request Srija Didi, you would like to speak on the subject, or any Didi, if you can raise hand, because we want to, some of you, because we should be.
All of you, I did not say namaskar. Sorry, my network was a little bit weak, and now is better.
No, it's okay, Dada. Network was okay. So anybody, Srija Murli, Mira Didi and Mitu Didi, any one of you, Mirdula Didi is there. Many people are there. Anybody wants? Anyway, if you are not able to speak, may I go back to Surendra Reddy ji only for solution? Yes, Srijati. Yeah. Tell us, please.
Yes, this has always been on our mind as proutists. And Dada is back, so that makes all the difference to get back to our center point. And Dada, having said this, should we wait for the World War?
I mean, no, a proutist is never waiting. Proutist is always, contemplating, not waiting, contemplating, and in living the pulse of the people's heart. Proutist people or Anand Marga is not, waiting and watching. We are in the midst of the people and feeling the nerves and the and including ourselves in their suffering and in their good times or in their difficult times. We are not away from the people's life. We are not preaching from the top of the mountain. We are living everywhere where people are living. See? So these are the platforms that we have created. The open forum, which is where people can have a different kind of discussion going on, so solution oriented discussion going on. I mean, on these big television shows, what discussion are they doing? What solution they are coming at? Nowhere. You see. So that is the
having said that, just one more question, because you brought up the entire structure that we have at present as the solution, because people already have seen that and they know it too, but or it is the initiative. That is where is the time yet? The answer is there. But who will bell the cat? One, it's about the policies. Secondly, do we have the strength to unite and go ahead? Because today it's very clear that as long as the capitalist system remains, it will only be profit motive, and as profit motive goes ahead, it will only be denial of masses. The entire humanity will have to suffer. It is obvious, but still politicians being governed by the business class will be bound to support them. We need not blame just the politicians, because they are actually servants of the business class.
Yeah. So where is the question? What is the question, and where is the question?
Question is, why not address that point as to what is the change that is required? The change that is required is moving the economy to the masses.
Number one, Sister Srija, nucleus is always very small compared to the big body of any entity. We may be in a very small number, okay, but your ideas and our thoughts that represent, the cosmic sentiment for the people, love for the people, solution for the social problems of the people, even if it is happening in one person's dreams and thoughts, even if few people are preoccupied with this is not only happening in the brain of that few individuals. From there, it also resonates in the entire psychic world of the collective humanity. So never think that physical number of head count is going to be the only factor that will galvanize this kind of a change. No. The more you believe, the more you hold this idea as your conviction. Even we are only hundreds in number in compared to the 14 billion people, 1.4 billion. It's not, you see, the big milk, very small quantity of a starter, it changes the whole milk silently, not violently, silently. You see, when the milk is ready, and you are putting a small amount of quantity, which does not even form a percentage of the entire mass of the milk, but you see, with time it replicates, and overnight, by morning, the entire milk is gone, and only yogurt exists there. Only the curd will be there. You see, that is the kind of change which is natural change, which is organic change, and that's what Prout is going to happen. Today, Government of India is talking of Prout's dreams. You see, Prime Minister of India is talking of those dreams that we are talking in our classes. It is catching the mind of the people. But for them to have the entire picture is rather a big ocean of gas. You see, because they are on this side of the ocean and we are on the other side of the ocean. Okay, but it is at work. So the point is that there should be more and more discussions going on, other than what the televisions are showing, what the channels are showing. We have Zoom now. Okay, Zoom is available. It has been provided. You see, our Proutist Universal is providing 10 licenses, of the Zoom, and it is 24/7. Keep working with the people. Keep working with your small, number of people that Keep discussing. Have a license and have your own discussion, group available. Develop your own group of discussion on the social issue. Take the lead from this, your centralized, intellectual federation. From here, take the materials, and then you replicate in your small discussion group in your own language, in your own, Samaj language. That way, the ripples. Create the ripples. That is the way to spread the waves. That's the
One more question, if I have the permission. What is the role on employment? Be it specific.
Employment?
Because this was the topic.
In Proutist system, employment is already clear. The 40%, 30 to 40% will be trained into working on agriculture. 20% will be trained into working for agro industries. 20% will be trained into working for agrico industries. That covers 70 to 80% population. 20% will be trained for commercial work. That will be the city life. And that covers, 90% population. 10% people will be working for the government. And you have 100% employment.
So, Dada, when you say that, don't we have to invest our time in education also? Instead
education,
of in a debate.
Education is free. Education is free. Money is there in India to create free education. Before the British made it, paid education, it was all free education in the Gurukula. It was all free education in the Gurukula, and people were speaking Sanskrit and their own Tamil and their own languages. They were learning everything. It was all free. Education should not be commercialized. Education should be free for all. And standard one education policy, the Prout policy is only, there is no private education. One education. Finish. Government education is one education, but not run by politicians, run by the educationists. You see, universities should be autonomous. You see, so everybody should have right and will have right to education. Like today, the clip was showing that so many people are not able to, so many medical colleges, engineering colleges remain empty because the students don't have the money to pay for the fees. No, if it is free of cost, then everybody will go in there. It's not that, if you're capable to pay your fees, only you are entitled to education. No. Not in Prout.
The situation today is.
That is the situation today. And even those who are educated, they're not up to the mark. They don't pass the interview. You see? No. The training should be done in the same way what the economic, structures are there. Agriculture, agro, and agrico. And the luxurious goods, production. These are the four things. Can you see Europe? Can you see America? Can you see Canada and the first world country? They're going for agriculture now. Everybody wants to grow their own potatoes. They want to eat their own vegetables. They don't want to go buy from the big, big markets. No, they want to grow their own. They want to have their hands on. They want to touch the vegetable plants and love them and eat their own, lady's finger and their own eggplant. They want to do that. You can see people want to do that.
Anyways, thank you very much.
So the education system can be focused, in this way, looking at the next generation. This generation has to take care of the next generation. Next generation, of course, it will
So
evolve
the thing
itself.
is,
That's
yes,
I
I mean,
think we are talking of here the job and job-based education is rightly said. What job demands, training should be specific to that.
exactly. Education should be catering for that.
Others
Education should be training the people for the kind of the economic needs of the
right. So, Didi, may I request
Yes, okay.
Yes,
because
please.
time is not there, I'm sorry. Madhusudhan ji,
Just
will
carry
you
on.
please switch on? Dada Madhusudhan?
Okay. Namaskar. Just briefly, a couple of things. Dada Vimalananda ji, namaskar. You rightly said that there needs to be a economic, I believe you said economic revolution?
Renaissance, yes. Renaissance.
And revolution is a silent revolution, he told, I think.
But before you can have economic liberation, you have to have intellectual liberation. Because same old intellectual thinking will not bring any kind of new economy. There's a saying, I don't know if you have in India, here in the US, we have a saying, oh, you should think outside the box. I don't like, I said, I don't want to think outside the box. I want to break the box.
There should not be a box at all for anyone.
We have to do, we have to start creating completely new ways of thinking. And that's what Baba has done. And it is a challenge because it's hard, I've noticed it's hard for new people who just became acquainted with either Ananda Marga or Prout philosophy to really understand it in the beginning, because you have to break that box in your brain that makes you think in a certain way. If you try to think in the same old ways you thought about for centuries, you can't comprehend a new system.
Exactly.
The other thing I wanted to mention is, this is my own thinking. I believe we need to get away from thinking about providing the basic necessities of life through employment. Because, and this has been the capitalist model, even the communist model, your employment provides your income. Now, there in Prout, I believe there's going to be many more ways of providing income other than just employment.
Possible.
And Vimalananda and I had discussed this a long time ago, and my understanding is that let's say we have an economic unit. The economic unit, everybody who lives in that economic unit is a member of that economic unit. The economic unit functions even itself as a big cooperative. So imagine your government is operating like a cooperative business. Then the government has income. So because the government owns all kinds of large-scale industry. So from that income, the government can provide basic necessities to people who are shareholders in that government. So in our capitalist way of thinking, people have to pay taxes to fund the government. But in a Proutist way of thinking, the government is funding the people because the people are the owners. And so the income comes that way. Then what happens? Employment. Employment will also be there because nobody wants to live on the basic necessities of life. The basic necessities, just the basics. But we should be encouraged to live better life. Everybody wants to live a better life, and that's what employment is for. Your employment is to provide you with all the nice things that you want to enjoy. And so employment is not a torture that you have to undergo in order to feed your family. Employment becomes for you to personally express yourself and your life to the full capacity. It's a whole different way of thinking.
Whole different way of thinking. Yes, that's the point. When you have a cooperative, you are the owner. You see, when 90% people have cooperative shareholding, means the 90% people are already owning the entire nation, because each one is holding a share, and the entire workforce is 90%, and everybody is a shareholder. So the 90% people, they take a share of the nation's wealth. You see, and that's the guarantee of their survival and existence. It's not that that employment is bringing them the money for paying their bills only. No. They're the shareholders in the national wealth. The entire wealth that is created in one financial year, it goes to 90% population. You see, because they are all shareholder of the economy, and all the work is done in a cooperative manner. It's very nice. That's how it is called the economic democracy. This is also one of the reasons why the system is called economic democracy, because 90% people are taking a share, getting a share of the GNP and the GDP, the entire financial production of the year. You see, it's democratized, maximum democratized economy. Anyway, now the time is up and we can keep discussing,
Yes,
and
the
I have to go.
last,
I have
I
to
would
go.
request G. Surendra Reddy ji to
Surendra Reddy, yes, Surendra Reddy ji, yes, please.
Namaskar.
Dada, please.
Namaskar.
See, the point is about economic democracy. That can be possible only through Samaj movements. We are clear about it. I wanted to say one gap. I see people are saying that the money is frozen in the banks. No, what we find is that in this Vaishyan era, the money is frozen in the hands of the capitalists. The money is frozen in the hands of the friends of the leaders in the world, in any country. Like Putin is there. Putin has got a dozen people. He has bartered, or rather, he has divided the Russian assets to a dozen friends, and he's running the show. So this is all in operation. It is frozen in the hands of the on account of that. See, we are suffering. The political parties are nothing but tools. They're only something like pawns in the the masters. The masters are behind them. Okay, I think the time is not much there. So ultimately, the issue is the Proutist model alone can satisfy that the issue of employment and a wholesome life. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you, everyone. I think in nutshell, the Prout model is the economic democracy, the balanced economy. That is what Dada mentioned, and the 4-tier economy, the 4-layer of economy, what you call the psycho, general, and other economies. So the solution lies here. But renaissance is required, because without renaissance, I don't think is going to be heard anywhere. But things are moving. People have started discussing, at least what Dada is very optimist, that at least people have started discussing at even the street level or village level that something should happen, something is wrong or right. So at least mind is opening. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaskar, and thank you for joining. And I'll request our Dada to join Dada sometimes. It motivates us.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Let's take the opportunity of your presence. So thank you very much, everyone. So let us close this session with your permission. Thank you so much. Namaskar.